realize that someone was really just using you. Didn't use me for money or anything physical, but they always wanted to vent their problems to me, which I didn't mind. But when I needed to talk about my problems, they always found a way to dismiss my issues or they tried to one up me. They wanted me to be their therapist, which I wasn't equipped to be. Oh God, this. Eventually I said enough. I'm not a shrink, and you need help I can't give you. Either shut up or pay me to sit here and nod. This was my ex roommate in college who was way too hung up on her boyfriend. I get being upset, but this was nearly a year. Ha! When I broke up with my girlfriend, who called me when she was depressed or anxious, when feeling normal, she was out with her friends. That is exactly how I said it too. Enough is enough. I'm done being your therapist. My best friend, when they moved around the corner from my house and made all sorts of, oh, you could come around for cups of tea so easily now, comments. I took a day off to help them move. Used my staff discount to help buy all their appliances. I have been invited once in the year she has lived there. And the only time I was invited around was for 20 minutes to look at potential fault with one of the appliances. They have also stopped talking to me except on odd occasions where they have more appliance related questions, usually about 11 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm curious to see if she wrote anything else, so let's take a look. She did. All right, let's read it. So someone wrote, ugh, why do people do this? If all one doesn't take, people are going to eventually catch on and one will end up completely alone. Karmic law. But that's the thing. When people are using people, they don't necessarily care. Like, that's their whole personality. I mean, until they did this, I hadn't actually realized just how much and how often I was helping them either. They could have strung me along for much longer. I'm guessing also moving nearer to family makes the more convenient to help her. So I was just dropped. I never asked her for anything either. And now that I think of it, I can't recall one single favor they have ever done for me or an occasion where they helped me. I helped her put together flat pack furniture. I helped her paint the kitchen ceiling in her old house before she moved. She bought a great big cage for one of her pets too, and while putting it together, she sheared off part of it, and I went around to fix it for her, cutting my finger open in the process. I don't really know, but I do know how much it hurts to realize that it's a one sided friendship and that it was over. Wow, that sounds like one of my former best friends. We have been friends, I thought of him as my best friend, since high school. He called or emailed me whenever he had a question about something I knew. Whenever I called to say hi, he was always about to go somewhere. Never called back. Visited me from out of town when he wanted to crash at my place to visit his girlfriend. When he broke up with her, he stopped visiting. Years later, I read somewhere, never be a better friend to someone than they're willing to be to you. Then it's when it hit me that he wasn't my best friend. He was a regular friend who saw me as a resource to be used. Sounds like they're totally awkward and selfish. Not trying to be rude at all, but have you ever invited them over? Maybe there's an off chance that they feel like you don't include them. I have. And they would come with a group of friends for game nights and stuff, but the invites were never reciprocated. I have loads of excuses for them for months. They are busy, they just moved, etc. And they went on for ages until I overheard them talking about having a group of their work friends round for game night that night. At that moment, I realized they literally just don't give a shit about me. Damn, that really breaks my heart. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm a woman, and when I was in high school, a guy friend of mine invited me to a cookout his family was having one Saturday. Fine, why not? He was nice. Cookouts are nice. I said sure. He picks me up and we showed up to his grandparents' house. and it was packed. Everyone in the family, aunts, uncles, cousins, steps, is there, and they are thrilled to meet me. Everyone comes up to me and gives me hugs and to chat. They've heard so much about me, how cute we are together, and I'm like, what? I smile and hug and play along. But I'm lost in all of this. They're so nice, though. So I had lunch, talked with everyone, we took pictures. It was fine, if a little unnerving. Eventually, he took me home, and while we hung out in the same group at school, we never went out as a couple like that again. Fast forward to a few years later, when I'm in college, word gets to me through my friends that this guy has just come out as gay and he has a boyfriend. And suddenly, all those cookout memories flood back. And now it makes sense. I have been his beard. He apparently had been having a tough time in high school, and so he brought me along for the cookout, which was really a family reunion to divert any thinking about his orientation for a while. It was a total aha moment. But after thinking about it, I really didn't mind. If he needed to use me to gain some time to sort himself out before he could go public, I'm glad. Even if I didn't know it then. And you know what? I was thinking the same thing. Like, I feel like if she was a good enough friend to come to this barbecue, I don't think she would have had an issue with it. And I wonder why he didn't admit that, but I don't think that he could admit it to himself. So it probably was hard to admit to her. I've been married for approximately 2 years and 1 week, and my now ex, English born, newly green card awarded husband, referred to our marriage as settling for something, since myths like true love don't exist. So you might as well find someone that you can sort of tolerate and accept that this is the best you can expect. After I spat my drink out, I asked, wait, all those times you said you loved me and wanted to spend your life with me? Oh, you didn't mean it like that? No one means it? It's just play acting to get what you want? Yeah, no. When she dumped me via Facebook after me helping her through thyroid cancer, doctors, tests, getting medicine, I was there 100% before, during, and after her surgery as well. Amazing how thinking you found someone you could spend your life with, and for the first time wanting to do anything, everything to help them get better, with them supposedly returning those feelings magically overnight, and you find out you are a band-aid to them and meant to be thrown away when you are no longer needed. Fucked me up. Probably still to this day, even after several years, that ever present feeling that the only person I can trust when it comes to relationships is myself. Dated in college and moved home after college was finished. We were both looking to get jobs in a bigger city, so the long distance thing would be temporary. She got me to drive her an hour and a half to help her mom, and her brother move out of their house into one house where her mom and her would be living, another apartment where her brother was moving to, and two storage units. It was 2 days of moving, and when I stayed over, she slept in the same bed with me, but I could tell she was not into anything going on. We were both tired after moving, so I chalked it up to that. After the second day of moving, I was headed back home, and she hugged me and said thanks when I left. The next week, she came, drove out, and broke up with me. Obviously, she wasn't into me anymore, but kept me around at least an extra week to help her move. It was a massive move, too. Fridges, washer, dryers, hundreds of boxes. Seems like you dodged a bullet, though, Scotty. When I was 8, my mom suddenly got a new boyfriend. And my father, who until then had expressed zero interest in me, came back to me and started to take me on weekends, be more friendly, etc. At first, I thought nothing of it, but after I realized that every weekend he would sit me at the kitchen table, get me to talk through everything my mom was doing during our week, and then ignore me for the weekend, I realized that the only reason he came back to me was that my brother was too young to spy on them, and I was old enough to tell him in detail everything, yet young enough to be manipulated. Needless to say, I don't speak to him anymore. Wow, your own dad, huh? Most of these were relationships and friendships, but when your own family uses you, it hits so different. But I'm going to end it right here. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any stories like this yourself. I would love to hear them. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day and God bless. I'll be back next time.